Hi guys, welcome back to Harry Makes Up. Today I'm here with my lovely model Amelia and we're going to do a look that I've created exclusively for MinMaxBeauty website. I'm going to put all the links below in the description bar as well, so you can go to the site, have a look at the story we created. The story was called Eyebox. Now we focused a lot on the autumn seasonal palettes and looked at the different colour combinations and what was on offer from some of the really top brands. So this is quite a nice sort of high-end dramatic look, and we're going to be using, the key piece really was this palette by Dior. And this palette is called 456 Jardin. So it's a nice kind of mix of bluey greens, sort of like khaki greens, and those nice kind of like navies and pearl shades. So I'm going to show you how to create the same look we did for the story. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the lighter colours, which was the lighter pink and the lighter kind of pearly white, and I'm going to pop that into the inside of the eye. And I'm using a Nars number 12 brush for this. I'm just going to pop that into the inner socket, and you're just going to create a nice kind of pocket of open light. So I'm just popping this in, and I'm kind of mixing the white into the pink, so you almost get like a transition of really subtle colours. And then I'm taking a Bobbi Brown eye blender brush, and I'm just going to buff that through a bit more so there's no lines, it's all very soft and kind of melted into each other. The next brush I took was by Nars also, and this was a number 14 brush. And then I'm going to take the kind of lighter colour green, which is this really beautiful green. So I'm just going to pop that on the brush, and I'm going to work that through the middle of the eye. So think of it like a just really nice mix of pearl shades. So I'm just kind of changing the depth of how much I'm using it. So you can hear I'm kind of adding more here and more here, but leaving a little bit sort of undone here. And just winging the shape out ever so slightly so it kind of tails off. And I'm going with that same green again, just closing on there. I'm going to take a little bit of that almost into the inner corner of the socket. Again, just as another pop of that green almost in a different area of the eye. So next colour I'm going to go in with is the khaki colour. So on the same brush, I'm just going to take some of the khaki green, which is the middle shade. So if you close to me, I'm going to pop that now into kind of the centre of the eyelid. So we've got a little bit more, again, that graduation of a different darker green. And I'm kind of letting that fall into the socket a little bit as well, so I start to use it to shape as I blend it through into the rest of the eye design. So like I said, it's quite a dramatic, strong look that we did. It was quite an editorial look. But I'm going to show you how to make a softer, more wearable variation afterwards. So then I'm going to take the same brush again still, and we're going to go in this time with the darkest shade, which is this gorgeous kind of navy greeny blue. I'm going to pop tissue under the eyelashes, and I'm just going to work that into the lash line, just start to blend it up to soften. And just lift the lid a little bit as well, so you can see you start to get that darker colours coming into the eye now. And just keep it very soft, keep your Bobbi Brown brush to hand as well. So going in with a dark Kohl black pencil, I'm going to turn Amelia's head this way a little bit, and I'm just going to run this along the lash line, and what this will do will kind of really emphasise the darkness of those blues and greens, just so it gives that more smoky lash line effect, but it will give it really something to grip to. And I'm just kind of feathering it up as I do it. I'm not really drawing a line, just literally flicking that upwards. And then going in with your Nars brush again as well, you can just blend that in. So you get that nice deep colour of the lash line. And I think navies and greens are always actually a very flattering darker hue for the eye. You can use these eyeshadow palettes wet for a much more intensified look. So I'm going to start with an angle brush by MAC, and this is the 266 brush. I'm just going to spray the ends with a bit of the water, and I'm going to go into the darkest colour, the darkest blue. And if you just look up for me, Amelia, that's it. And I'm just going to press that right into the lash line, so you can see straight away the intensity is much stronger. But you want to create that nice winged eye shape. So I want that winged element to be quite a strong feature. So I'm just following the eye line up as if it were carrying on. So imagine that line were carrying on, and that was how I kind of created the flick. And then I'm just pulling it down a little bit. And then I started to take that same flick. So if you look down for me, Amelia, I then took that same flick along the top of the lash line as well. So it kind of morphed into the top lash line and really intensified. So you see you've got that nice kind of sharp angle flick, And rather than using black, you just kind of mix up the colours a little bit. Your black eyeliner and look up for me. And you're going to go into the inside as well, so you get a really dramatic kind of cat liner effect. And look right down at the floor for me, Amelia, so you want to go on the inside as well, just so you can't see any skin. So I'm taking the same brush and just mixing that into the khaki colour and carrying that on as another extension of the liner. And close to me, Amelia, and I'm going to take that same colour again just to join up on the inside, and then just going to soften that liner. And the textures mixed with dry and wet give a really beautiful finish. And you see, just going back over that liner, and I'm using that darkest blue again as well, just to create more drama again. So I'm just going back through the socket, and it's literally just about layering this look. So now the eyes are on, I'm going to use some of the I Do mascara by Eyeko. The actual shoot I used the Eyeko Midnight Blue mascara, but I've run out of that sadly, so I'm going to use this one today. And I think if you have a strong blue mascara, it will look really good. But just look up for me, darling. But anything that's kind of nice and intense, even if it's just a really intense black, will also look equally great. So I'm just washing that along the lash line. And look down. And just wiggle that through the lashes. So I'm just going to take some Ardell Demi Wispies to add, just to give the lash that extra bit of drama. So I've got a bit of duo glue on the back of my hand, and I'm going to use my Schuh Mirror lash tool to apply these. I'm just going to pop those on. I'm going to leave them quite sort of wet to start with, just so I can move them around where I want them. And I'm just going to let those attach themselves to the eye. And because I'm doing quite a winged sort of shape, I almost want to pull the lash a little bit further back than what I would do normally, just to help elongate the eye even more. And so there you have it, guys. That's the finished look. I just want quite a nude lip to finish with this look, and I think just keep it quite bronzy and the skin quite fresh. But if I turn Amelia's face this way a little bit and you look down for me, Amelia, you can just see you've got that nice kind of graduation with the flick, and it's a really beautiful shape, and just keep the cheekbones chiseled as well. And I think if you want that extra drama, you want to add a good lash as well. So something like the Ardell Demi Wispy is a really nice way to wear the look. So that was the first look, which was the look we did for the MinMaxBeauty shoot. And I just want to show you another way that you could use this palette just to do a kind of quicker, really easy wearable, but quite still on trend look. So you just want to take something like a beauty cleansing water. I've got a bit of Bioderma that's decanted down. Just have some cotton pads, and if you just close your eyes for me, Amelia, I'm just going to take off the top layer of eyeshadow, and I'm going to try not to disturb too much the liner, because I just want to keep, I love the liner coming from the bottom onto the top. I think it gives a really nice effect, especially with the gelled up eyebrow. And then once you've got to this part, you just want to take a cotton bud, something like a Muji cotton bud, which is quite firm. And I'm going to dab that into the Bioderma, and then I'm just going to really kind of cut through the liner. I want to keep all that underneath section. And then you want to go back to your Dior palette. I'm going to take a pencil brush and I go back in with white, the kind of creamy pearl white. If you just close for me. And then I'm just going to press that right into the inner corner. So you almost have, if I turn you that way a little bit, Amelia, you could just have a really icy pop of white on the inner corner with that liner. And just open the cup for me. And just blend that into what you've got left of your liner. So just using it this way, it kind of is a nice way to use the palette as another variation. And it almost lightens up the liner as well by giving it that kind of pearl finish on top from the kind of icy white. And then just so that your lid looks nice and clean as well, I'm just going to pop a little bit of the medium to Nars Radiant Concealer on the back of my hand, or you can use a tiny bit of your base. And with a MAC 217, I'm just going to just give those eyelids a little bit of a clean up. So you see, you always get that cat eye effect still, which is really nice. But rather than using a thick black or anything too opaque, you've got this nice kind of pearl finish with the blue. And I think it's a nice way just to kind of play down those colours a little bit, still using those nice autumnal navies and greens. So there you have it, guys. That's another way to wear the look, another way to wear this palette by Dior, and just to kind of give it a little bit more of a different kind of more graphic liner finish, using the nice kind of frosted eyeliner in the middle, and then keeping that nice kind of severe flick we kept underneath.